What's going on, guys? So, you know why you're here. Yes, there was a huge drop off in the Spider-Man Homecoming second week of box office. 61%. That's a lot. Like a lot. That is a lot. A lot of that's it. That's probably MCU's biggest um drop ever. I think that's pretty crazy. So I guess I wanted to give my response on it, since I did with the critics' response to the movie. I figured I would also do a response to the audience. The audience is, given the money. So I'm surprised to hear that. I am a little bit surprised to hear that 61% drop. So that means what, the other 39% of people who actually went the week after to watch it again. That's pretty crazy. That's a lot of people who said I'm not gonna go watch this movie again. I don't know if it was because of their opinion on the movie or if it was because maybe they just saw it and were like, oh, I don't know, I'm done with Spider-Man. I don't want to watch no more Spider-Man. Or I don't know what it could be, but I don't think I was a big impact on it. I mean, yes, I showed you the comic books. Yes, I showed you my opinions, and there were a few things that I left out of that review, and for good reason. I guess you could also kind of say that this is more than a response. This is, I guess, my deleted my deleted parts of my review. I guess it's not the review. It's just I will be talking about a few parts that I left out, and you'll probably know why I left it out of the review for good reason. And if I did put it in the video, let me know. It's been a while since I did the video. I haven't watched it. I did watch it one time, just to make sure my editing was good, but other than that, yeah. So basically, my response is, I am a little surprised, but at the same time, I'm not very surprised because, come on, we've had Spider-Man so much in so little time that I'm not very surprised. I mean, we've had him remade and rebooted so many times that I think either A, people just didn't like the movie, or B, they just, you know, they just are sick of Spider-Man at this point. It could go either way. I don't. But there were. I guess now I can get to the parts that I left out of the movie, like I said before. Okay, so one of the things that I noticed but I didn't say was the racism in this movie. Now, the reason why I didn't was because I kind of nudged at that with Shocker, uh, and that's why I didn't continue. I could have continued, and if I did continue, let me know. I haven't seen the review, in a while. I only saw it one time, and that was like, what, last month? So yeah, so the racism. There were, like, I think two or three racial jokes, and politically correct jokes, and that was the beginning where I guess I've seen a couple people review the movie. There are still people who are reviewing the movie, and they basically said how at the beginning of the movie, like the first 5 minutes, there's this joke, right? And Michael Keaton's character, who's basically saying, "Oh, I remember when I used to watch Cowboys and Indians when I was a kid." And then there's this guy that replies with, "I think you mean Native Americans." Like that is politically correct down your throat. I didn't say that in my review, because I was, and if I did, let me know. I was pretty triggered, so I kind of forgot a few things. and then there was another one. It wasn't really a joke. It was more of a it was more of just an annoyance. And I think this is one of the reasons why I didn't like Michelle's character, was she was so, I think one person even, and one person called her an emo MJ, and I just kind of laughed. I don't even consider her MJ. Like, she's not MJ. She's some other girl, I guess. I've described how that's a slap in the face to people. I think it would have been better to just make her MJ then. They just slapped all the theorists in the face. I said that before. But back to what I'm saying. And then I think there was another thing that slipped past my knowledge because I was so bored, was there was a scene in the library, I guess, where Ned's helping Spider-Man on the computer during the homecoming dance, and the librarian walks in, and then she's like, like, what are you doing here? And then he's like, watching porn. Like he couldn't come up with any other excuse. And then kids' parent, and probably parents didn't take the kid to see the movie next week because they were like, I'm not explaining you what porn is, son. Okay, it's not happening. Like, that's a great conversation to have with your kids and your parents. But yeah, I've been watching a few people's reviews. Like I said, there are still people making reviews of the movie. I guess I just wanted to respond to what my opinion was on it, on their box office, and my few deleted things I got rid of. What did I say here? Oh yes, acknowledge my emotional response. I came off in my review as very emotional, and that it did emotionally affect me, because that's just not how I see Spider-Man. I see him as a very intelligent and a very smart person who doesn't need help. I see Spider-Man as an independent superhero. And one person who reviewed the trailer even said that he's like a sidekick in this movie. I wouldn't say sidekick, but not far off. I mean, he does rely on Stark tech. He relies on that suit. He even says that I'm nothing without this suit, and that's why that made me mad, was because it's like, the real Peter Parker would be intelligent enough to make his own suit, to make his own stuff, to do all that. And that's why I got so triggered, because Spider-Man, one of the biggest reasons why I liked him when I was a kid was he was so intellectual. Like, he was very smart, He knew... He just knew what to do, and then when they took away the spider sense, I got even more mad, and then he relied on the tech, and it irritated me, and that's what I was trying to say, and I think I came across as maybe a little bit too emotional, and maybe that is why a lot of people didn't like the review. It's not split, obviously. I mean, it's kind of, obviously, judging by the box office, it's way more than it's like 61% apparently, because that's crazy. But yeah, those are a little bit of the reasons why I didn't like the movie again, and why, more calmly for me tell you why than me, And yes, people have been telling me in the comments that yes, he makes his own web shooters. Yes, we see that. Okay, will we see him do that? Do we get to see him make different types of web shooters? No, because then the computer just has all the web shooter combinations for him, the suit. It's ridiculous. I didn't like that. He makes his own type of webs. That's why I like in the Spider-Man PS4 game that's coming out soon, next year. He probably made that little ricochet thing that pulled the enemy into that wall. If you saw it, it was really cool, and I got hyped because I'm like, that's something Spider-Man would make. That's really cool. I like that. Like, he's a very smart person, and that's why I don't like that they dumbed him down. Like, because this one guy I watched, he reviewed it. He said that when we're not going to the theater, we're not going to watch a superhero movie, or we're going there because we look up to that person. Like, I look up to Spider-Man, for an example, right? I want to try to be like him. I want to try to be the best I can be, right? You want to be the best you can be, and that's why I looked up to Spider-Man, because he never gave up, and he was a very intelligent, very smart person, and he was strong. He knew what to do. He was a leader, and that's what I loved about him. But they made him a follower in this movie. He was not a leader. And, I guess the same could be said about MCU fans. I kind of got on board. I didn't read the Captain America books. I didn't read the Iron Man books. I didn't read the Thor books. I didn't read the Hulk books. That's why I probably liked Avengers so much. I didn't read those books. I read Spider-Man. I watched Spider-Man. And any of those characters that I remembered or that I saw from Spider-Man's perspective. I never saw them from their own perspective. I didn't know them until I watched the MCU movies and I did more research on it. So that's why it didn't bother me so much, because I didn't know much about the characters at the time. But like I said, like, I'm not a follower. I'm a leader, and I'm going to tell you that I didn't like the movie. And I just didn't like it. And I gave you reasons why. I gave you reasons in this video and in the last video. I gave you my response to, what I think about the drop. I'm surprised, but I'm not surprised, because at the same time, I'm sure people thought it was the same stuff. And in another way, people like me didn't like the movie. So there's that. And then what? Someone said that, like, I looked like Tom Holland with my glasses on. Okay, let me take out my glasses. Now who do I look like, guys? Who do I look like? I want someone in the comments to tell me who I look like without my glasses on and off, because I think I got a comment like that who said, "Oh, you look like Tom Holland with your glasses on." Really? What about without my glasses? What about without my glasses? But anyway, thank you for watching. That was my little response, and like I said, the reasons why I left out some of the racism and the politically correctness is because I didn't feel like it was necessary, and because I was so stuck on my own opinions that I didn't, think about, everybody else and how it could affect everybody else. So I was kind of in my little bubble at the time, but I'm not anymore. I'm seeing other people's perspectives of the movie. I'm seeing good and bad ones. I recommend that you see, a good review and a bad review for both movies, and then you come up with your own opinion. But even before you watch those, you should be able to watch the movie and come up with your own thoughts. And that's why I'm not, super upset about all the comments in the review, is because, yeah, there are people who, are going to defend this. There are people who are going to go against this, like moi. But ultimately, it's about perspective. It's about seeing it a certain way. People see Spider-Man a certain way. Insomniac said it perfectly. People have different visions of Spider-Man. People have different opinions about him. People, that's the reality. The reality is someone's perspective is going to be different to your own. And that's just the reality. And that's why I'm surprised with the ratings, and that's why I'm surprised, and that's why I think I told you in my review, the critic formula, as I called it, I made that up. If that becomes a thing, I'm going to trademark that, first of all. The critic formula, basically what critics want, you know, the plot, the base. They don't care about the comics. They don't care about they just care about what the movie's trying to say or what the movie's trying to do. And according to the critics, it nailed everything they wanted. So it's called a critic formula, right? It's what critics are looking for, and that was one of my arguments in my review. But I probably was going so fast that you couldn't even tell. But I slowed down a bit in this video to let you know that there were some things I missed out, my response, and yeah, guys, are you surprised that this with the 61% drop? I know a lot of people were surprised, but when I first heard, I was surprised when it did drop because I thought that, because I really thought that I was wrong. I really thought, oh man, maybe I am wrong for thinking that way. But then I was like, no, I'm not, because guess what? 61% of people not seeing the movie. So yeah, it's crazy. But anyway, thank you for watching. If you stuck around this long. And I'm out of here. Up, and away. See you guys.